October the 19th, 2025. Guys, this is going down to be one of the worst years in history. And it's not over yet. It's not even over yet. We know that Israel has once again resumed bombing against Gaza. As you can see here from a distance there, they're just totally annihilating these people once again. 100 airstrikes since this morning. Netanyahu claiming that Hamas came out of the terror tunnels and attacked their people. No, according to Ryan Grimm, soon after the explosion in Rafah, I'm told a source familiar with the White House and the Pentagon knew that the incident was caused by an Israeli settler bulldozer running over an unexploded ordnance, contradicting Netanyahu's claim that Hamas had popped up from the tunnels. After Netanyahu said he was blocking all aid from entering Gaza in response and unleashed a bombing campaign, the administration conveyed to Israel that they know what happened. Netanyahu then announced he would reopen the crossings in a few hours. It doesn't matter anything what is going on there. I want to thank Charles Hodge for sending these things to me. Jerusalem Post, an opinion, the Red-Green Alliance of leftists and Islamists fueled by Qatar seeks to fracture America by turning conservatives against Israel after Charlie Kirk's assassination. No, they know who killed this man. So you can make it all you want. Israel, you can't expect to go there and annihilate and genocide people and then expect the world just to sit back and be silent. And Charlie Kirk was beginning becoming very outspoken. Candace Owens clearly shows that information in some of the things that she's saying. Listen to what she says here on Piers Morgan. I thought it was very amazing. Some of the things that she had to say here, I think it's worth listening to. Speed it up a little bit.
Do you think he's a war criminal?
Yes. I believe he's a war criminal. And I think that the issue is how much power he has, particularly in America. And I want to make sure that I'm just crossing or I guess making that clear to people across the pond. In America, we have lobbying. You guys don't have lobbying here. And so this is why it might seem...
We do, but not to the same degree.
Yes, like AIPAC spent $100 million in our elections. And what that means is that they're able to write fellowships, they're able to pay journalists, they're able to pay people to attack and take down people who speak against their initiatives. And AIPAC, I would say, is very much pro-Likud party, pro-Bibi Netanyahu. And this is why you have seen people like me being attacked in the way that they have been attacked for what I believe is just a human stance on what's happening to the Palestinians. I don't care if you had flipped it, if it had not been Israelis, if it had been, if it had been Christians doing this to Muslims, I would say the exact same thing based on the images that I've seen. But there is a ton of evidence that Bibi Netanyahu allowed October 7th to take place, including the things that we found out, because I now read Haaretz daily
You don't actually think he knew it was going to happen?
Let's just talk about the facts. We don't have to speculate on that. What we do know is that they did intercept the hostage plan before it took place, right? The 250 hostages that came out in Haaretz media. We also know that Egypt gave them a warning that the attacks were going to take place. Egypt said that they were being ignored. That was a fact. I've been to Israel. Have you been to Israel? We know it's the size of New Jersey. We know that it takes 15 minutes to get from one end to the other. And we know that every 5 feet, there's a person.
What she's talking about 50 minutes is from Jerusalem over to Tel Aviv. It's less than an hour to go from there. And from the furthest northern end of the border, the southern end of the border, you can go in 4 hours. So it's absurd, right? She's right. And you have armed military, very close.
A gun. That attack went on for 2 hours without interruption.
It went on 6 hours without interruption. Candace was just being generous with the time.
I find that hard to believe. And this gets to the...
And live on air, by the way. Live on air. And maybe she's talking about 2 hours because some of the local people there that were armed, some of the local military police that were in the vicinity that were able to intervene, but they were just by themselves. There was no military. It was 6 hours before the military ever intervened. So thank you, Candace.
I guess the nucleus of the corruption trial against him, when now he...
For bringing this out here with Piers Morgan. I appreciate you doing that. Also, too, I'm really concerned here when I listen to Kash Patel and what he says here in this interview here with, he's the head of the FBI. They're going to use this situation to go against, they're going to use this to go against the American people that are saying things about the Charlie Kirk assassination. Just listen to the way he says it there.
I think that the militant trans issue really became familiar to the American people last month when Charlie Kirk was killed. I mean, you guys at breakneck speed found this guy, you identified him, you profiled the type of person that he was.
And they're blaming it on the transgender movement. This is so absurd.
And that's incredible. Is there more evidence that you guys can offer to people, maybe video from that roof? Do you expect that there will be more to be released?
I think the best thing we can do for Charlie, especially me as FBI director and our team, is to prosecute this case in the courts of law, wherever it is, in Utah, in the state of court of law. And what we're going to do is what we've done. Give them every piece of evidence we collect. Our cellular analysis systems are the best in the world, and that's what the FBI does, and that's what we flew in and did. That's how we led the manhunt and got him in 33 short hours. And every single piece of video or forensic evidence or witness interview, we've done dozens and dozens, gone on these platforms, found every single person. All of that material, and I know this is frustrating to the public, and I understand it, but I'm not going to allow the Charlie Kirk prosecution to be dismantled because we want to get over our skis and publicize information. That is the one thing you cannot do. We will make everything public in court. It just takes time.
It does. Yeah, it always does in these cases.
You don't want to make it public in court. You want to keep the true facts from ever making the light of day. I'm actually working on some information right now that may be very, very damning to their case against Tyler, because I still do not believe that Tyler was the gunman. The evidence is sitting in Frank Turnick's cell phone. There was a infrared laser or some sort of laser that struck his phone, and it's very obvious there. So we know that the shooter was not there, whether it was from behind or whether it was from above and hit Frank's phone. I'm not sure as of yet, but I'm working on that. I know that other people like Colin and Ty Norman have been working on these as well. A lot of people have been trying to figure this out, and but I don't want to release anything quite yet. But I am finding some very interesting information, thanks to Colin sending me a huge list of the video footage has all been compiled together in one spot, and I do want to come back down that road once again. Also, I wanted to bring up too here the Zvika Klein posting here that in New York they're showing that Hamas is publicly executing people in the streets there. They're showing how brutal they are. Well, I think it's brutal regardless. I agree there. It is. Public executions are just horrendous, to say the very least. I do believe, though, probably the men that they are executing are these prisoners that were sent in by the Israelis to actually attack and kill Hamas militants. I don't like Hamas to begin with, but nonetheless, I can imagine that's what it was. I know that one of the journalists we interviewed there out of Gaza had shared with us that that the people that were some of the people besides the Israeli soldiers that were shooting at people trying to gather aid, what were these prisoners that were sent in, that were trained and armed by the Israelis to come in there and confront Hamas. And I think that that's what happened. They got trapped inside those lines there, and then they became part of that public execution there. So Melissa, I think you're pretty much getting it spot on without a doubt there. So, footage from today shows Israeli soldiers demolishing Palestinian homes in Gaza, and they have been doing it for the past several days as well. And by the way, not just Gaza. It has become a horrible, horrible scene inside the West Bank as well. Israel is just not even letting up on the evils that they are doing over there. So anyway, Trump's advisor on Gaza, it looked like a nuclear bomb went off, right? That's what he had to say there about this case here. Let's listen in.
Mm-hmm. And what did you see? It looked almost like a nuclear bomb had been set off in that area. And then you see these people moving back. And I asked the IDF, where are they going? Like, I'm looking around. These are all ruins. And they said, well, they're going back to the areas where their destroyed home was, onto their plot, and they're going to pitch a tent. And it's very sad, because you think to yourself, they really have nowhere else to go. Would you say now, having been there, that it was genocide? No. No. Absolutely not. No. No, there was a war being fought.
No, it's not genocide. You two idiots are idiots. In 60 Minutes, I'm glad you at least had the courage to ask them, would you say it's a genocide? Yes, it was a genocide, 100% a genocide, and you know it good and well. And if that's not enough, Ben-Gvir, watch what he has to say here. Israel National Security Minister Ben-Gvir, now that we have received the hostages, we must return to war and open the gates of hell upon Gaza. Oh, it's not a genocide. I'm sorry. Y'all are a bunch of idiots. That's all I got to say for you. Anyway, Stephen Benoon, thank you for listening. And also, too, by the way, our Patreon, Israeli News Live. Check this out. Could Three Eye Atlas beat Planet X? This is a provocative video, to say the very least. I go into some things. I've been wondering about this. I've kind of held my peace a lot about Three Eye Atlas. I did do one video just recently on our Patreon channel about it, but this one I go very deep into it, comparing some of the analysis and looking, going back to Zachariah Stitchin. I get into the Colburn document, which they call the Colburn Bible. Compare that with some of the analysis that are coming out from Avi Loeb and others as well. And I just take and look at it from an objective point of view. Also, I've actually, this is the fourth video I've loaded here in the past week on our Patreon channel. Again, patreon.com/Israeli News Live. I'll put a link in the description below for you. Your support of this channel is greatly, greatly appreciated. So please consider supporting the channel. And by the way, I also make it to where if you don't want to join Patreon, you can also purchase individual videos if you prefer to do that. But it's actually cheaper just to become a regular member. You can also donate right there online. And the other ways to support our work is through LifeWave, something that will definitely benefit you, and EMP Shield. EMP Shield, they may even be doing a special right about now. If I got to check for you real quick, you never know. Nope, not right now, but great way to protect your home, your vehicle, and all kinds of other ideas as well. Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.